Chapter 20, the Beamish Rabbi Levite. Rabbi Klein wasn't a huge fan of Joshua, as he helped him study his Haftorah portion for his bar mitzvah, but he didn't treat him like an ineffectual jerk-off moronic putz of the most deplorable order either. He recalls Rabbi Klein even making a warm-hearted comment about his friends during a mini-summation of Joshua's character, which makes him smile now because it was before certain friends tried to depreciate his TV writing break after he was hired as the head writer in charge of writing all the TV host music video reads for WWE Chris Jericho on VH1 Classics America's Hard 100 years later, inquiring, did they even pay you for it? No, they just paid Joshua in cum-stained zebra print spandex from David Lee Roth that the Hard Rock Cafe chose to pass on in favor of an autographed empty bottle of Slash's Jewy Curl activator. Joshua met Rabbi Sarah at a nearby synagogue in Mahopac, New York recently, who was funny and very personable, coming off like a flat-chested, higher IQ Judy Gold. He had no idea if she was a bush muncher or not. Still, he loved how she made the Saturday synagogue services very upbeat, welcoming, and business casual without stripping the house of worship of the deep-rooted holiness preening through the flawless stained glass windows, without the original Super Jew, Jesus Christ, in sight. But what bothered Joshua about the rabbi was a conversation over some halanoshes after the service, when he tried to gain a stronger grasp on why Jews got so tense when the mere name of Jesus was brought up in conversation, especially when Joshua would get into his pescatarian shtick about how if a diet of fish and veggies was good enough for Jesus, the original Super Jew, it was good enough for him. Back then, Joshua references his pescatarian diet. He was basically referencing his diet of fish fillets from McDonald's, smoked salmon scrambles made from home, veggie-loaded soups with the stream of sneaked-in lentils from his wife, and the occasional fried shrimp feast draped in golden, glistening panko breadcrumbs from nearby Stu Leonard's in Danbury, Connecticut, before he went all in on the kosher diet to obey God's law, show some mastery over his carnal appetites, and feel like a less all-over-the-place Jew for a pleasant change of pace. Not too long ago, Joshua took a break from reading his kids the Old Testament book, with some accompanying colorful pictures for kids, because the wrath of God in Noah's Ark story, he could tell was freaking out his 9-year-old daughter, so he decided to lighten the mood and start reading to his daughter Matilda and her 2 younger brothers from the Bhagavad Gita, later inspiring Joshua to write a pilot titled Horsing Around with Hinduism. It's a tale about a talking horse who helps Joshua whip his stand-up comedy act into shape before taking his act on the road for Barnstorming Farmers Markets, USA. One time over a reading of the Bhagavad Gita, Joshua's daughter asks her Dada, "What's meditation, Dada?" Joshua says, "A bunch of breathing exercises with a mantra for some thrown in between to make you feel like a less all-over-the-place Jew." Daughter says, "You're not very good at meditation, are you, Dada?" Now Joshua was being called into Rabbi Levite's office in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. He saw gold medal wins from the Great American Beer Festival hung prominently on his office study walls throughout. Joshua also notices a signed frame record cover of Hello Nasty, the last Beastie Boys album, which Joshua always considered an underrated classic. Later, Ad Rock, from the legendary trio Beastie Boys, had called the record the Beastie Boys' finest, and Joshua agreed. An old-school Hebrew school bud who showcased jappier, preppy taste than Joshua did later in college, for the sole fact he always rocked the matching brown belt in perfect unison with his brown Birks, always commented on Joshua's rock-solid taste after he went off on one of his impassioned rants about how the movie Bugsy was Warren Beatty's best film by far, and on par with Godfather 1 and 2, and even Carlito's Way, for that matter. "Esther and Scarsdale is none of your business!" Joshua was fond of acting out that line in front of his old-school Hebrew friends when they got older and drank away in another Christmas college break at local bar JP's in Hartsdale Village, proving Jews could hold their liquor better than most. even when you combined major weed puffage in between, proving some of the chosen people had more brain cells to burn than most. Joshua also noticed a signed autograph of Vin Diesel and the rabbi during his shooting of the film Knockaround Guys, where Vin Diesel plays a badass Jewish knockout artist and gives the most intimidating psych-out speech of all time before unleashing his freakish Hank Greenberg walloping strength and knocks this poor hick's skin off his face all over the ballroom floor. 500 fights, 500 street fights, and you could consider yourself a legitimate tough guy. You need them for experience to develop leather skin. So I got started. Rabbi Levite comments on Joshua's eyes, fixated on the rabbi's pick with Vin Diesel. Super smart guy, Vin Diesel. Huge fan of our people. Loved the Vin man and the overlooked Sidney Lumet gem Find Me Guilty. Vin was a bouncer at the tunnel during my hardcore ecstasy phase back in the day. He kicked the shit out of Ryan Reynolds after funneling a 12-pack of Molson Canadians easy. How can I help you, Joshua? I hear from Golda you're a budding scribe on the rise. Joshua says, Rabbi, I'm questioning my desire to hide behind the page forever. What I love best about the art of creation is tapping into the divine and surprising myself on the page. Instead of doing pre-written jokes of mine on my Dual Dad Your podcast, dad-friendly entertainment for you and me, my great Aunt Marion saw me do a stand-up comedy set at the Broadway Comedy Club ages ago, and I'm not one to let others' labels limit my creative firepower, but her insisting I was more of a rant-type guy stuck with me. Then I recall my best bud growing up, Ari, insisting I could be a good stand-up comedian, but a great writer. I also think about what Neil Simon said about how when you're a comedy writer, you'll always be relegated to the kiddie table, which I don't mind so much because I prefer the company of children over most adults any day of the week, especially my own. Still, I'm so tired of hearing lines such as, the jokes write themselves, which they never do. Plus, I'm so tired of giving two shits about the opinions of so-called friends regarding any new material I create when I'm still not getting paid for it. Joining a bunch of other 40 to 50-year-olds for singing lessons to sing Allman Brothers tunes doesn't do it for me either. I just want to be my unique, original, semi-ranty, super punchy self and become a semi-working artist before I die. Please interject anytime before I run out of breath, Rabbi. I'm begging you. Rabbi Levite says, so you want to do more than just right behind a computer because it makes you feel like an ineffectual Jewish pussy like the rest of us artist types in our tribe, correct? That's correct, Rabbi. Joshua says, is it my fascination with Jewish tough guy stars like Bugsy Siegel and the ones who play them like Vin Diesel and Knockaround Guys a dead giveaway? Rabbi says, frets or fights? That is the question. My advice is you fight by any means necessary for what you believe in, Joshua. God didn't create you to be more indecisive than Jared Kushner at the salad bar at the Bellagio. You were born a star personality. I can feel it. So make your inner light shine the best way you know how. And try to limit your IPA intake to the weekends because they're 400-calorie hot bombs. And the camera adds 10 pounds to your enormous yet well-proportioned head. You should give my younger brother Schwendel a call. He's a hipster Hasid who just launched his own brewery. And he's looking for a big viral video idea for his new flagship release beer, the Great Jewish American Pale Ale. He got a perfect score on his Barron's chemist exam after taking in the 6th grade and graduated Johns Hopkins in 2 years flat with a degree in microbiology. You can be the branding Bashir partner he's been looking for. Or you can relearn how to read Hebrew and get a bar mitzvah again to exert your manhood in a more erudite way. Joshua says, I got 3 kids, Rabbi, out-of-state grandparents on both sides, and I still haven't recruited a Jewish godmother who can make up for my religious education shortcomings. I'll give Schmendel a call instead. Thanks for your help, Rabbi Levite. You're the best of the rest.